in a battleground where Dignitas is also very strong. 3-0 for them, 4-0 for Team Liquid. And Liquid just simply says, okay, we acknowledge you're strong here. We still believe we can take it here. And then again, they would probably have to play the battleground one way or another. So they go into Volskaya, pick the map, and take it from there. And I want to see them really shine, because now they have to show a little bit more than in the last 2 games.
Speaking of drafts and paying attention to them here, when it comes to Dignitas, they have ran into a Vala composition with double support twice in a row now on this battleground. So going into it, Team Liquid needs to prepare for that. Don't give up that Tassadar, or if you do get the Tassadar, make sure that you are set up to be able to handle that comp in terms of trying to disable the Vala.
Yeah, so there's still a chance that we're going to see a double support setup with the Tassadar or Tracer, so there's a bit of variation into which hyper carry you go for. Liquid could, of course, address it also with the ban. It's also possible here. Or just simply draft a composition where they are saying, we don't really care what kind of double support you play with a hyper carry. We have something that we feel is going to take that down. But they're definitely going to be very well aware of the preference that Dignitas has for that setup.
Now's the moment, Team Liquid. Do you want to handle the double support comp, or you want to give it up? Team Liquid in the last couple of bans have taken away Urel, taken away Genji themselves.
I'm actually not so sure. For Liquid, if you ban anything, if you want to really target the double support setup and you want to ban anything, you would ban Tassadar. That would really be the ban that you go for. But of course, there's a few more heroes that you really have to consider here. I mean, Tracer, even without Tassadar, would be very, very powerful. It's one of the reasons why she's banned so much. She actually fell down into the second ban spot now, but there's Tassadar, so you already know what they're going to go for. But this is exactly the problem, because now you have to pick a composition where you just say, yes, we know what you do, but we feel that what we have is stronger and will counter that. But you can have your picks, because Dignitas is very likely now heading straight into that Vala again.
The Chromie Dream for Team Liquid is a move straight into her as her first pick. Sticker King will be the second pickup. Been having a little bit more rough time with Chromies lately finishing their stacks. We've had a couple get it towards the late game, but teams have gotten much better at dodging out in those sandblasts. Regardless, Chromie does have a strength in this battleground, being able to put damage onto the Protector. One of her better battlegrounds, I feel like. If we're looking at other ones, Tomb of Spider Queen should be pretty strong on. And actually, the Altruic Pass, whenever that comes out, she is strong there too. Malfurion and Vala for second and third pick for Team Dignitas, staying with more of the same.
Yeah, not really coming as a big surprise here. Liquid again with Deckard Cain. They were 5-0 before heading into this match, but now of course they lost on Cursed Hollow with Deckard Cain. Dignitas again with a composition that they've been playing so many times on Volskaya Foundry, going into exactly the same setup here. And yeah, it just remains to be seen if they can pull it off, if there's something that Team Liquid has where they can counteract it or not.
What ban do you take away here? Which main tank are you scared of? The last couple times that we've seen this ran by Dignitas, they ran it with a Muradin, so Muradin could be a nice ban, just to make sure to keep it away. Also good against
here they pick Garrosh. That was their Garrosh setup. They have Garrosh on this map 3 times now with the setup that they're currently running here.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I'm looking at the opposing team. I'm looking at Granite.
Yeah, so the Garrosh was super powerful for them, but offlane, of course, is another concern that you have. But with Urel banned out, Dignitas could go, they can go basically into the exact same setup that they had before. They played it here with Urel, they had Leoric on the side lane, and they had Blaze on the side lane. So those 3, you ban out Urel, but they could still go into, let's say, pick Garrosh again, and get Blaze too, and all of a sudden you have a setup where you can just extremely powerful keep Vala alive. I feel it depends a bit on what Liquid does in terms of their tank, what exactly we're going to see from Dignitas on the side lane. If there's a super hit point heavy monster, then Leoric would again come into play here. You could also with Leoric then threaten maybe Chromie a little bit more if you get that flank, and your Entomb on 20 is going to be insanely powerful. So I feel that's going to be the main concern for them. I'm more interested to see what Liquid does to adjust here, because from Liquid's perspective, they go into this game, they know exactly what's going to be the priority on the other side. The reason why they ban out Tassadar, or sorry, Tracer over Tassadar is because a Tassadar ban would shut down the double support, but then you allow the Tracer play, and Tracer is strong on the map too. So they said, yeah, we're feeling much more confident dealing with Vala and a double support setup than with Tracer, even if they don't have double support for it.
Whatever they pick up, they got to make sure that they're able to deal with the side laner is going to be double soaking. The 3 heroes that you mentioned are all great at also double soaking too, and that's why they're so good here with this Vala composition. You can actually let them be kind of by themselves and isolated and being able to control the map and get that experience going. So if Team Liquid decides they want to deal with that, you can either match it by picking a hero that's similar in terms of wave clear, or you can pick heroes that allow you to force engagements and make sure that if that opponent is currently doing the double soaking job, you just go for a straight 5v4.
I mean, one of the things that Liquid can, of course, do too is just pick some of those solo support or even like frontline options away from Team Dignitas, because we still have an opportunity of them picking Garrosh.
Yeah.
Need to always make sure that you're not flipping anything right on top of Chromie, of course, but they go into Diablo and Thrall. Makes Leoric, in my opinion, more likely now for Dignitas.
Diablo and Thrall coming out there, great early front line. Also the Earthquake, in case you do have the engage coming in from Team Dignitas, makes it harder for Vala to be able to put that damage, but also easier for Chromie to land her skill shots if you have the Earthquake available too. So not a bad pickup here for Team Liquid, and also good control around the control point, which is something that they did excel at when it came to game number 1. They had a composition that did control shrines well, but they made sure that they played that perfectly, and they did do that. So going into game number 3, expecting the same.
So again, Dignitas traditionally with Garrosh, but Muradin is actually up, oftentimes picked away when they were facing off against opponents in earlier rotations, so that's another option for them.
Yeah.
If JPL wants to go back on one of his main tanks that they played so far.
Especially against Chromie.
Yeah.
Really good to pick it up here.
I mean, especially when that poke hits you and you go into third wind, which granted is something that JPL really doesn't do a lot.
Stormball build all day.
Yeah, he loves that perfect storm. Garrosh again, and Blaze over the Leoric setup. So yeah, for the 4th time on the map, pretty much the same setup.
So what's your ace in the hole here, Team Liquid? What do you bring out to deal with this strong front line, but also a double supported Vala? Looking for a little bit more damage.
I mean, Phoenix is still up.
Yeah.
So Phoenix is still a really good option here, but they go for Hammer. Phoenix with the combo with Diablo would have been strong. Hammer, of course, is also pretty solid if you can zone the opponent out and put the extra pressure on Vala. So Liquid is just simply saying, this is the setup. This is what keeps us alive here.
I kind of wish Garrosh wasn't picking, so we could have maybe talked about Tychus as a 5th pick instead. But it's going to be Hammer. Hammer being able to bring out that poke. Very good against Garrosh, any range damage. So between Chromie and Hammer, Garrosh actually will have a bit of a difficult time finding the spots that he wants to move into. Of course, you have the Tassar shields to help out with that, but still, good range here for Team Liquid, and a nice way to answer the strong front line that has been brought up by Team Dignitas.
I think for Liquid, this is really... It's a bit weird. I think this is an ideal situation from the perspective that they know exactly what Dignitas would very likely pick. That's exactly what happened. So all the games that they looked at in preparation for this game showed them what the playstyle is, what they are going to deal with right now. And so from a preparation perspective, I think that's great for Team Liquid because they go up against something that they could study, where they know that Dignitas would play it, and they developed a strategy where they said, okay, we can deal with that as long as we get these heroes and as long as we approach the game in a specific way. So they don't have anything to adjust to right now, but they have to still execute their own strategy. And if that works, that's something we're going to find out right now.
Well, over to game number 3. Team Dignitas over on the left, up 2-0, trying to secure the 3-0 and knock out Team Liquid. Snitch playing Tassadar, Wubby on Blaze, Poik on Vala, JPL on Garrosh, and Zelia on Malfurion.
And to the right side of the map with an 0-2 in this best of 5, we have Team Liquid with Norok on Deckard Kane. Arcana this time on Chromie. Eternal finds himself on Thrall. We have Sport Billy on Diablo. And Hazops on Sergeant Hammer.
Immediately here in the early game, we'll see the two clash. I think Dignitas will be a little bit careful, but they do have Malfurion roots to back up. And they also have that Garrosh into Malfurion combo. Team Liquid will be looking out for that with Sport Billy leading the charge. Arcana already, though, opening up. Landing a Sandblast, which has been a difficult task for a lot of our players in the HGC. Teams have gotten much better at handling Chromie under pressure.
Yeah, Chromie is not looking too hot in Europe now. At the mid-season brawl already, she had a lot of problems. And currently we have her in HGC Europe with 7 wins and 3 losses. So 30% win rate. Most of it's actually Dignitas has played her, Liquid has played her too. It's mostly losses on the side of Diamond Skin actually. Granite Gaming, that is. They were very, very unsuccessful with their Chromie play up to this point. Picked her 4 times, didn't win a single game with her. They're struggling a lot on that side.
Wait, 7 losses, 3 wins?
3 wins for Chromie in general, 7 losses, and 4 of these losses are from current game.
I think you said it backwards. I was like, wait, 70% win rate? What the heck? She's actually killing it. No,
Okay,
we're all good.
My bad.
We're good. Okay, so a 30% win rate here for Chromie, of course. Sample size of 10, not too bad there. Something that needs to be delivered on, and we'll watch out for this Chromie, see if she can land those shots. Good on this battleground, as we've mentioned. Turrets grabbed for both of our teams at the 1-minute mark, as they'll be cleaned up and used on the control point. Chromie with that bronze talents coming online will help out with that additional damage, but Team Dignitas so far rotating safely, staying away from it. Looking at the stacks, only 4 so far for Arcana.
Dignitas is just incredibly impressive. We might see both of the teams with a 4-0 track record in matches, but Dignitas is still far superior to Team Liquid when it comes to success in Phase 2. And it doesn't really come as a surprise. Liquid is very strong and has a fantastic phase, but for Dignitas, this has been an incredible run ever since this roster formed, starting with GCWC at the end of 2017. So I would expect Liquids to really push Dignitas to the limit in a few of the games, and I think we've seen that in game number 1. But at the same time, I still believe that Team Liquid will need a bit more time to just come to fulfill the potential of the roster. Yeah, especially with the changes they made. As well as Nurok plays in support, and as great as Arcana is on that range, I feel they still need a bit more time to make sure that they have everything completely synced up.
I feel like Team Liquid's road has been very bumpy on the way here, whereas you look at Dignitas, it's been a little bit more clean, a little bit more paved, and I was hoping that bumpiness would actually help them out in this Best of 5 series. But so far, that's not the case. Hopefully they can ramp up as we continue through game number 3. I wouldn't mind going a few additional games here as we head towards that possible game 4.
I'm still in the opinion that especially the second part of Phase 2 is going to be incredibly competitive in Europe. And I mean, we talked to Snitch about this yesterday too, and he agreed with that. I feel we see it also with how well Leftovers, for example, perform right now, how other teams have started to step it up, that we're going to see a much bigger threat to Team Dignitas. But Wubi is, in this case, even able to move away from that triple gank that happens there at the bot lane. Blaze just not falling.
Even with the jet propulsion being blocked, just not enough damage.
Casually walks out.
I blame Nurok. Not putting out the damage, dude. Poor guy. Playing Decker Cane. Can't hit people with that cane and one-shot them.
Yeah. It's like, it's always a good thing to blame the support.
Always. Rule number 3 of Heroes of the Storm.
Can't go wrong. Always blame the support. But now we have the hammer set up, and this is really where Liquid is going to try and hold the point. And for Dignitas, this has been one of those situations where they could always push in with the help of the double support. Not only to keep Vala alive, it's just that extra armor on Tassadar that helps the front line so much. But of course, Vala is squishy. Our little cowgirl here needs to be careful if that Chromie combo connects, because that can drop you within seconds.
Yeah, get a few more of those there, and that's how Team Liquid can definitely earn a win here. Team Dignitas does bully them out though, and they'll take over the point. Team Liquid content with that for now as they are behind levels. Gonna go ahead and go soak in the bottom lane and get that level 7 and then come back and re-engage. They've got a nice cushion with 64% on the control point, while Team Dignitas tries to slowly take that gap away from them.
We needed to have level 7 for Liquid first. But also, this was pretty good. Now Thrall completed his quest, and it just shows how difficult it was for Eternal at the beginning to complete Egg of Elements. And we've been talking about that in the past. If you can deny it to an opponent's Thrall long enough so that during the first objective, he can't just continuously poke, that's fantastic. Now he still has it for that second part of the control point, and they're going to try and use exactly that. JPL actually very, very low here. Zelia too. Both of them still able to walk away here, but the position is now reclaimed by Liquid. And I actually think if they would have focused a bit more on a single target, they could have confirmed one of the 2 kills.
They did have a lot in the front line in terms of turrets. Team Dignitas will clear that up. They're retapping and reassessing if they want to come in. Tassadar even clearing up that top lane. Looks like they may actually just give it up. Tassadar stays at the top, Blaze stays in the bottom, and Team Liquid gets the first protector. It's
really good for Dignitas to give this one up because they were so low already, and they're just saying, guys, if we rotate quickly onto the lanes, we get a lead in experience. And I mean, just look at how far ahead they are. They caught all the lane experience, and that nearly gives them a level lead. For Liquid, that means they have to get value out of the protector simply to catch up. It's not even them getting ahead, it's just catching up with Dignitas. And of course, you're trying to prep the top lane for the second objective, which is going to become crucial here.
Chromie has gone to Portal Loop. We're looking for combos for her. She's currently in the protector as they are...
They're not going to get it. They're actually not going to get the top.
Not the well, yeah. They get the turrets, they get the gate. Trying to siege down the well, go down to half health.
Yeah, but they're already getting zoned. Nice dodge also here, and lockdown. And they're not getting the well. It barely... I mean, they should be able to push in and take it down eventually. Yeah, Arcana goes in and he confirms it.
Boom.
Okay. But that was still an impressive defense by Dignitas. They lost very little here.
Another engage in the middle, and Wubby once away gets away, but this time, at least he has his teammate dip him out. JPL with end of the fray. Tosses him to safety, and Team Liquid has closed that experience gap. As they're sitting at 9.5. Team Dignitas slightly ahead here still, and can still soak this on top, but Team Liquid right behind them.
I really like the confidence for Liquid, though, heading into this map, because they're just simply, again, they're just saying, yes, you have a 4-0 record on this map, but we are still better than you. You haven't lost yet, but we are the team that first started to really put the numbers on the Volskaya, that just dominated the item game, and we love this map. We like the rotations, and we know how to take you down. We've seen your strategy, we know what you got, and we will bring you down. And so far they play well. Dignitas is still ahead, which is impressive, but Liquid is at least controlling the objective and also prepping for the second one.
Both teams trying to control these items, though. 3 set up here for Team Dignitas, where you look over to Team Liquid, and they have 1 support, 1 turret, and a second turret coming in as well. So in terms of items, 3 apiece. But Team Dignitas starting to get to the point where they're grouping up as 4 and pushing in lanes. Oh my gosh, they find a Nurok, and they toss him, and they take away his turret. It's like taking candy from an old man.
Take away his dignity. They just wrecked it here. I mean, it is these quick rotations. Dignitas is just fantastic with macro game. And we were talking about macro game, and it's always a bit of a platitude. But at the same time, it's just these rotations that they have to never miss out on lane experience. Whenever a lane gets pushed out against them, there is a rotation that not only gives them the experience on lane, but they also gain something afterwards. They rotate towards a camp, and it's just thinking 2-3 steps ahead. Okay, we need to catch a wave top, so let's rotate someone else up to the camp and take that on the way back. Rotate down, make an invade here. When someone on the other side is too slow, when Liquid rotates a bit slower on those lanes, they create opportunities to get kills like this, where all of a sudden they appear with 3 man, jump on Deckard Cain, get a kill, take one of the items away, and that's already a win here. The fact that they are already ahead, even though they lost the first protector, is just simply impressive.
Temporal Loop comes out and no dimensional shifts. Oh, never mind. He got the Archon dimensional shift and he gets away. Team Liquid thirsty for a kill, but they find no water.
Big cooldown that got burned, though.
Yeah.
That's something that Tacida's not going to have available for a long time. But yeah, look at this again. Liquid was trying to get value and were aiming for the kill. No one could really rotate in, so there's an immediate drop of a fort at the bot lane. Now Liquid can of course respond in kind since they already took those turrets down, but it brings Dignitas closer to level 13. And very close. That's one of the reasons why they're willing to take that trade. It's a fort for fort, but it's more worth to Dignitas because they grabbed therefore an early level 13. And so despite Archon being used, despite the cooldown advantage that Liquid has, they have to give up the early stage of the objective because Dignitas has a 13 talent advantage.
They'll still have a 40-second window where they can use Temporal Loop to force a fight. They're just trying to get 13 right now, and they're all started soaking there in the meadow, so they'll be able to get that. Boy, taking a lot of damage here on the top. It's going to be able to volt away. Finally, 13 hits, and with Temporal Loop right on the corner, 6 seconds, Team Liquid will have a chance to fight over this control point and see if they can land the Temporal Loop they're looking for.
Yeah, so Dignitas has taken the early lead thanks to that small move, and Liquid can now start to contest it, now that they have their own level 13 talent. They still have a 35-second window until Tacida has his Archon back up, but it will be ready for these fights. But of course now the attempt to control the space, and that's where Deckard Cain with the potions is going to be crucial. Hazorp's also there. They're trying to get another biotic emitter. Wubby already knows that. They're just playing a bit of a long game because Diablo is still holding that spot.
15 seconds for Archon. Dignitas dances around the control point, trying to pull them down. Team Liquid does go into engage. They'll bite here. So he finds Malfurion. They focus him down. Zelia trying to stay alive. He puts the ice block at the last second. And here's the schedule for Team Liquid next week. And back to the fight.
Zelia survived through the ice block, but now again the engage as Sportbilly was trying to move in. Insane schedule also on the side of Team Liquid for the upcoming weeks here. They need to be a bit careful, but a win against Dignitas would go a long way.
Temporal Loop. Indomitable comes out. Poor Arcane, these loops unable to connect on anyone. Team Dignitas not giving them a situation where they can get the win. I can't believe Malfurion was able to lift that lightning breath.
Dude, I really feel from Dignitas it was such a fantastic move to bring that schedule in, because if that distraction doesn't happen, I think there's no chance that Malfurion survives. It really was one of those moments where Team Liquid was like, we don't know what's going on. The two of us already super surprised. It was really a move that you don't see a lot. And that gave Zelia the few seconds that he needed to move away.
Calendars, they are a very, very strong move you can use in Heroes of the Storm. If you're able to put that on your opponent's monitor, you can definitely get some wins. Team Dignitas figuring out how to pull it off for a split second. Required a lot of focus, but they did it.
Yeah, 80% now, and Liquid is still in a decent spot here, especially since a lot of the cooldowns are coming back online for them. So they have now Lightning Breath ready once more. Stale while Listen is there. Here comes the lightning. That's one of the saddest Lightning Breaths that I've ever seen in my entire life. He just gets pushed around. He's like, no!
And at that point, Diablo had an idea for a carnival ride, and he'll go back and draw the drawing board on it.
Yeah.
For now, Team Dignitas, they are staying here on top of the control point. They go for a flip, they go straight for Diablo, he gets silenced, he gets booted down, he gets Rain of Vengeance, and he gets attacked.
Yeah, and that's the death of him, but he's gonna come back into the fight. But the problem, of course, is the Protector is now in their hands. That was Sport Billy with a bit of a misstep there. That was actually really unfortunate for him. Him dropping the Lightning Breath as he's already on the conveyor belt gave them 0 value on it. And they were at 99%, but now they have to give that one up. And that's the problem, because Dignitas now has a Protector, and they have level 16 any second with this. So we have more than a level lead for them. That could have gone better.
Here's part of the reason why stacks are so hard here for Chromie. The moment that we have Team Dignitas grab a turret or grab a fort, they immediately rotate to a different lane, forcing Chromie to chase him down, not setting up to get these stacks on. Now, with that being said, Arcaner's still doing pretty all right, sitting at 45 stacks of the 60 that he needs. But one fort goes down, and there is potential for a second to be cleaned up here. With one more rotation of abilities here for the Protector, there it goes. Team Dignitas hits level 16.5, and they opened up the first layer of defense from Team Liquid.
Yeah, Liquid hasn't found a kill yet in the game. A lot of what they're trying to do here is really control space around objectives and then push with the objective. So Dignitas is always the choice, okay, do we move within hammer range, yes or no? Or do we stay at a distance? And Dignitas is doing extremely well, keeping their targets alive when they're making these rotations and just commit to a fight. The 2 kills, I mean, it's a small thing, but the back of those kills, they were able to also get the rotational experience. They were not able to secure that second Protector, even though they started originally with a bit of disadvantage into that fight in the first place, but now the advantage and experience that they have translated into the earlier 16. It allows them to take items again, and they're going to try and claim an early level 20. Dignitas is looking strong here again, after Liquid originally in the game was off to a good start.
Team Liquid about to hit 16 though, and this will be their chance to fire over the next control point. They would love to get this Protector taken away. They need to find a proper temporal loop target. They would love to grab Vala. They need to bait out the bunker first though. Could always come in with a flank withdrawal and drop an Earthquake and just get in the back line. You start to get to a point where you're putting yourself at risk between Malfurion Root and a Garrosh combo. But it might be needed here for Team Liquid, as they've been having a rough time so far with these team fights. Especially that one in the middle, man. So close to getting Malfurion, just no cigar.
Yeah, that was actually, the ice block there saved him just for long enough. And you always have Garrosh just to throw you out too, so that makes it really difficult to confirm the kill there. But it's definitely true. When we saw the engage happen, I think again it comes down to a bit of the communication. If a few more shots are already put onto Zelia when the engage through Sport really happens, there's a kill. And it was a bit reminiscent of the first fight that we saw over the checkpoint in the middle of the map, because back then they split a lot of the damage between Malfurion and Garrosh, and I think with a bit more focus, one of the two could have been taken out. But of course, as always, I mean, that's nitpicking on a pretty high level there, as they're trying to get their kills. And for us, it's always easy to make these calls. Since we're only observing the game, they have to actually play. And you sometimes have that tunnel vision where you just don't see that. That's where communication becomes so super important.
Having a clear mind, one of the strongest things you can have is competitive play. Even, gosh, Hero League yourself. Trying to look at the map.
The 16s, on the other hand, with the Alpha Wolf for Thrall, are another great tool. Especially against that front line. When you look at the 16 talents for Team Liquid, having Hammer with Giant Killer and now Alpha Wolf for Thrall, those 2 talents alone are going to be extremely powerful against the Garrosh and Blaze setup. So it's going to make it very difficult, or a lot more difficult for Dignitas to engage into these Hammer siege-ups.
Diablo gets thrown into the corner, gets immediately taunted down. Sportbilly is low. He's going to have a chance here to use his Lightning Breath. Gets completely blown up by Team Dignitas.
Yeah, he was at 48 stacks at the time, so he's down for the count now. Didn't really have that hit point pool yet that they want. But he should be back in time for the next objective. Problematic is just that lead for Dignitas. If they play a slow objective, they might even get level 20.
19 about to hit for Team Dignitas. 25 seconds before we have Diablo back on the field. Dig will use his time to work on the turret. Team Liquid setting up around the area. They do have a pretty nice choke setup. It just could be in a 4v5 kind of sucks for them here. Constant auto attacks, trying to get Snitch low on health. Wolf comes out too. Trying to find a target that might be low enough. Arcaner wants Siege. Oh, goes for Snitch, but Snitch able to get through.
Let's see how Liquid is actually going to play this. Again, Dignitas has the time. This is one of the things about your objective on World Sky Foundry. You can allow your... you get either everything or nothing. So you can really just claim an advantage at the start, give your opponent some time on the spot, and then come back later when they are at 99% and try and win a decisive fight and take the objective from there. So for Liquid, this is now one of those situations where they can go on the spot. Wooby is going to retreat, unless of course they are able to pick him here. Shouldn't really happen. Yeah, so Wooby is going to retreat, they're going to dance around a bit, but now Dignitas can just clear a few waves, wait for level 20, and then Liquid is still in a situation where they're like, well, what are we going to do now? Do we actually fight for this against Storm Talons? Or do we somehow try and defend against the Protector that moves in with a Storm Talent advantage for our opponent?
Seems like it's the other option. Pull away and defend. They're going to go soak what they can.
I mean, ideally what you are trying to do when you're Liquid is, you're getting your level 20 while the opponent takes the objective, and then you defend with level 20 and the keep. Not sure if that's going to be working out for them. They are 1.5 levels away, and Dignitas is already pushing through the bot lane to prepare the wall, poke a bit away against it, because from Dignitas' perspective, you want to end the game here.
And they're setting up for it too. Keep wall opened, gate, that means they can go straight for the keep, take that out, and then go straight for the core afterwards. Team Liquid will have to have a really fierce defense. They're setting up a support camp too to give them a little bit more sustain in the fight that they know is coming.
I think right now Liquid is losing the game. Dignitas has opened the entire wall. Liquid is not going to get 20 for the defense. And we already have the wall gone, and they can now start poking against the fort, so this is going to fall even faster. Even the biotic emitter that Team Liquid is trying to take right now is not worth it.
Here we go.
This is... Liquid needs a great engage now. They need a kill. Outside of... I mean, the Protector isn't even there. It just comes in now. It's at 100% still, and the keep is gone. So now you're not only fighting against the level 20 advantage, you're fighting against the Protector plus 20. Liquid needs a kill, and they need it now.
Protector right on the core. The 3 on the back are being peeled out by Diablo. He's trying to slow them down, but Poik will make easy work of him. Bunker comes out too, as well as double turrets, and that means the rest of Dignitas can move forward. The Protector down to a quarter HP, but the shield for Team Liquid, and the core is down to 40. It continues to drop as Team Dignitas is one to put the nail in the coffin.
Dignitas goes in for it. Liquid desperately trying to defend, but it's not working out. That's game as Dignitas takes the 3-0 over their direct competitor in the standings. Another flawless victory. 15 map wins and only a single loss in Phase 2 of 2018.
Dignitas is being a little bit more composed, a little bit more control-like when it comes to their team fights and their draft compositions, especially in Game 2 and Game 3. Felt like Team Liquid just was not a match for them. But Game 1, certainly a situation in which Team Liquid could have gotten a win. You gotta wonder, if they had gotten that victory, could the series have been different?
Dignitas, Snitch talks about it a lot, where he says that he feels that they need a bit of a warm-up within an actual series, that every single time they start a best of 5, they start slow, and then they start ramping up. So if that still holds true, then you need to try and secure that first win, just to